It's Thursday. Do you know what that means, Kevin?
Not really, Jared.
Well, it's the Journal. This is the last show of the season, and we're going to end it with a blast.
From a spoken word artist to performing crazy stunts, we've got it all right here.
We have an incredible show for you tonight. Stay tuned. Welcome to the Journal, brought to you by Centennial College. I'm Jared Vitone.
And I'm Kev Dawe. We have a big show in store for you tonight. We are showcasing 6 documentaries. We have a doc about a gym called the Monkey Vault, one on a physically challenged video gamer, a spoken word artist who uses it to express himself,
as well as the struggles to find a job in today's market and how a couple from Germany escaped during World War II, then eventually found each other.
We have a special guest for you tonight. Spoken word artist Amber Short will be giving us a breathtaking and enchanting performance. When will it take place, Jared?
During the middle of the show, so don't flip that switch.
We'll start with long-distance commuting. 2 students, Ian McDowell and Winna Basco, have to travel every day quite the distance to get to their schools.
Hi, my name is Ian McDowell. I'm a Centennial College student in my 2nd year of study. I currently live actually in Burlington, Ontario, which is about a 45 to maybe 60-minute drive outside of Toronto. So I do find myself having to commute every day to and from school. For me, I find that if I drive to school, that often I get stuck in bumper-to-bumper, rush hour traffic, and that's never fun. Because, you know, when you're behind the wheel of a car, there's not much you can do except maybe listen to the radio or daydream. So I found that a solution to that is taking GO Transit. I get on close to my house in Burlington and ride the GO train into Toronto, which is about a 45 to 50-minute train ride.
Hi, my name is Winna Basco. I'm a 2nd year student at the University of Toronto, Mississauga, and I'm currently majoring in French. I currently live with my parents here in Toronto, so commute can be kind of a hassle. Every morning I have to take the TTC to the Islington station, and then eventually I have to transfer using the My Way bus. So usually when I'm on My Way, the ride takes about 40 to an hour at times. So I just look at my notes, I study. I try to sleep, but I can't really sleep on the bus because I'm scared I'll miss my stop. So I just look at my notes.
I don't sleep on the train. It's usually not something that I'm comfortable with doing. So what I like to do on that train ride is actually focus on getting some schoolwork done. So I've found that that's actually overall helped my grades even. Just having the opportunity to sit there for that hour and focus. You know, you're trapped in the GO train. What else are you going to do, right? You know, it's interesting. A lot of the times when you're commuting on the GO train or the TTC, you see a lot of people riding alongside you that they're plugged in with their iPods and the headphones, or they're engaged on their phones. And it's like as if they're trying to block out everything that's happening around them, all the life that's happening around you. There are some negatives, but I have to say that I don't have any regrets with choosing to come to Centennial College. I've met so many terrific people here and great faculty, so it's absolutely worth the time that it spends to commute, and couldn't ask for more.
All right. Well, will we have Amber giving her performance yet, Kev?
Not just yet. We have a doc which features my cousin Brandon. Brandon has cerebral palsy, but that hasn't stopped his passion and love for playing video games.
Did your kids have a good night last night?
Yeah, they're fine. They're good.
Did they do anything exciting?
Just watch TV.
I started video gaming at a very young age. And it always fascinated me, even when I was a small child. And as I grew up, I started noticing things and trends that the gaming community / companies need to take part in. And that is the disabled market. Because people think, when people think of people and disabilities, they think it's a state of body and mind, but it's actually just the body. We do things in a different way. General consensus that I find is people with disabilities love gaming, because that's practically all we get to do. Gaming is my life, but there needs to be an option for disabled people. I can't even play the Wii properly. With the Wii remote and nunchuck, that is a two-handed peripheral. Now, what I'd like to see is something tailored for one-handed people or people that have some physical limitation. I want to get into some firefights here. But I don't know where to go to look for some. As you can see, this is a regular PS3 controller. Now, a regular person would have to hold it like a normal person. But me, I have to hold it one-handed, aim with my thumb, and then move with my thumb. And then the trigger buttons, I have to hold I have to put the controller down in my lap just to aim and shoot. I challenge anybody that is able-bodied to play a first-person shooter one-handed. I came up with this idea a long time ago and never seen it done. What I think they could do to change it would be either to put a one-handed option in all their games, or they can start making peripherals for one-handed people so that we don't have to go to mod shops and get them modded for an insane amount of money.
Now, it's over.
And now, ladies and gentlemen,
We have for you the amazingly talented
the ever beautiful
local spoken word artist,
Amber Short.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm going to get you to start clapping, okay, everybody? If you could do me a favor, because I need a beat. Fairly useless without a PA. All right, here we go. You are delicious. You are nutritious. You are easy on the eyes and good for the soul. Only the fittest survive when led to the sharks, as your career in dating takes its toll. And you see, you've got frog after frog after frog croaking into a marshland making history, croaking, non-practicing monogamous, performing conversational masturbation, but you're a delicious invitation, and you're lonely, so you listen. Be strong, be tough, be brave, my sweet. And you're tired of sitting through serenades, boasting of renegades, of emotional purging in disguise, only to have to cut the ties, your time not to monopolize. You didn't buy the ticket to this concert. That's right, you are not a side dish. You are not added hot sauce. You are not an option. You are the rule. You are the rule not to be used as some kind of tool with ears. That's right. Be strong, be tough, be brave, my sweet. Stand firm and be true to you. You are not an option. You are the rule. Stand firm, stand tall, be strong, my sweet. You are the rule. That was Delicious Dish of Diva, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Well done, well done. That was
Thank
great.
you.
How did you get into spoken word?
I actually, ever since I was a kid, I used to write a lot of poetry, and it was actually my introduction to music in the long run. So I'm actually a singer, but I'm useless without the PA. So I decided to go right back to my roots and do some organic analog spoken word.
Wow, thank you very much for that. That was great.
Thank you.
Now, speaking of spoken word, it happens to be our next subject of our doc.
No way.
Jay Dawe, a spoken word artist, uses spoken word to empower himself.
And they use it to express themselves through creativity in an inspiring way. Let's take a look.
What do I live for? Like, what's my reason for living? Is it degrees and a job position? I mean, that feeds into society's vision. But listen, what do I live for? Like, what's my reason for existence? Because we all want nice things, and no matter how much I get, it feels like something's missing. So what spoken word means to me is an outlet. It means it's like an outlet for me to express what I feel through an art, like poetry and art, and to also communicate things that I think are important to others. But let's go by religion. If we go by religion, then that means there's a God up in heaven and he knows everything. And if that's past and present, that means my life's scripted. If my life's scripted, then I'm not really living. So what do I live for? What do I want out of life? Well, I want to be remembered. I want all my family and all my friends and everyone I ever met just to never forget me. Started doing spoken word from originally writing normal poetry. I also did rap. Spoken word provided like a cross between the two. It's a way in which you can do poetry and add rhythm to it and add a certain feeling that you wouldn't get just by writing poetry down on a piece of paper. So it's, for me, it conveys more feeling and emotion than just normal poetry. Other rappers, through their lyrics, has inspired me to do spoken word because of the complexity and the wittiness of their lyrics. Where spoken word is concerned, I mix it with rap and poetry, and in that way create my own like style, flavor with it. Whatever I speak about in spoken word, it all depends on whatever I'm feeling at that particular time. So I've written pieces that range from love to heartbreak to black positivity, stuff for Black History Month, different cultures. It all depends on what I'm feeling at that particular moment or whatever inspires me at that time in my life. Whatever I'm going through at that time in my life, that's what I draw from to write different pieces. I want to be remembered forever. I mean, isn't that what we all want? Like, no one wants to die, and if no one wants to die and we're forever remembered, then we're never really gone, and that's what I live for.
Our next doc is about the only parkour gym in Canada, the Monkey Vault.
Parkour involves running mainly in urban areas, but never stopping, no matter what obstacle lies in the way. Whether it's a wall, car, tooth gap, or even other people, you find a way around them.
Anyone can learn parkour, but don't take my word for it.
Parkour is a sport where we move from one thing to another using only our bodies, our hands, our feet, jumping, running, crawling, climbing, basically stuff you would have done as a kid, but we do it now at all ages. I built the monkey vault because I wanted people to have a home that they were comfortable at, that they weren't going to get judged at, that they could just come and have fun.
My shoulder's gonna get really sore. Oh, very good, Calico. That was great.
What's so cool about the Monkey Vault is that it's a very fun place to be. It's like the place, and you get to do a lot of things that you can't normally do for parkour outside. You get to be in a safe environment, and the people here are just great. The atmosphere is positive because the people always encourage you to do better. They always encourage you to improve.
Slide it. Yeah.
I've never met a person here that I've just found I don't want to be friends with. I mean, I've met my entire friend, like everyone I know who downtown I've met here. It's just so friendly here. Everyone's offering you advice. I mean, no one's making fun of you if you can't do something. They'll always give you help to do it. I just really love it here. It's a really good place.
I'm not interested in having members for life. I'm interested in hearing stories of what my members are doing out in the real world. You know, I climbed a mountain, I did this, I did that, I went on a huge long hike. Thanks, Dan, you know? And that's why I think we're different. You know, we encourage people to actually learn things and actually get out of the gym rather than stay inside here.
Love is a fascinating thing.
Two people who traveled far and wide to reach Canada came along the same path.
But they never knew each other. Only once they came to Canada, they found each other.
A very touching story. No matter where you are in the world, love can find you.
Do you love your job? We'll soon be seeing people who have trouble getting their own jobs.
And we'll have the return of Amber Short for those who can't get enough of her. Keep watching.
Hi, I'm Jessie, and these are my grandparents, Trudy and Paul Heyman, at their 40th wedding anniversary. My grandparents have been married for over 50 years, and it's quite evident that they truly share something special. How did they last that long? What makes them such a good couple? I decided to do some investigating and find out, starting by talking with my mother.
My mom and dad had a very unique marriage, given that my dad, being a former band leader and entertainer, he was a very outgoing kind of guy. And my mom was kind of more like a homebody, didn't make friends as easily. But together, they were a dynamite couple. And it's really hard to explain because I guess they both had the same morals and values and goals in life, which is what really held them together. And they both had high respect for each other.
After talking with my mother, I decided to go to my grandfather and get the story on how him and my grandmother met.
Wilson Avenue in those days was way out, and there was a bus every hour. I happened to pass along, and I see this young lady just missed her bus. So in those days, you didn't mind saying that I'd give you a ride. So I stopped, and she got in the car. And of course, she said as soon as she heard my accent, she knew where I was from. And she's had a very British accent. And it turned out that we had lived a couple of blocks away from each other in Vienna. We never met. And then she was in England at the same time as I was. And that we met at a bus stop. But her background was completely different from mine. And the funny thing is, she was in England the same time as I was. Again, very close to my story in that case. But we never met.
It was amazing finding out how these two people moved across the entire world and still found each other, almost like it was destiny. Exactly 1 year, 1 month, and 1 day after they started dating, they were married.
I guess it was meant to be that we got together and had a very happy marriage for 56 years. My daughters could never believe it that the whole cost of our wedding was $123, and there was a table with a reception with some sandwich and then sweets and so on. And they always asked us, was this the sweet table? I said, no, that was the wedding. That was it. So, but we managed very nicely, and eventually we worked hard, and we had a very nice life together.
My grandparents spent the next several years raising a family with 2 daughters and 4 grandchildren, including me. They were always there to provide for us and shower us with love. Unfortunately, in recent years, my grandma's health slowly started to degenerate until last May when she passed away.
And even in the later years, once my mom's health really started to fail and she became immobile, my dad was the one that took over the cooking. And my mom, even though she could sit in a stool and she would direct my dad on how to make all of the family meals that she herself used to prepare for us. And it was really something beautiful to behold. She would instruct him and he would cook. He basically did everything for her without complaining ever once. And she was a tough customer because only my dad could make my mom her tea the way she liked it. And he did. And he did it with a smile on his face, and he did it with love.
I watch TV and there's something that strikes me, and I still turn to the couches. I want to tell Trudy something, but she isn't there, you know. It feels very strange, and I feel lost about it at times, you know, but I still feel her presence here, and as I say, I turn sometimes to tell her something that it's on my mind, and then I realize there's nobody there, you know. But listen, that is the way it is, and I think it also shows what a really good relationship we had. And I don't know whether I mentioned it before, but you know, I used to tell people, married for 56 years and we're still talking to each other. So I think that's quite an achievement.
Welcome back.
Jobs are harder and harder to come by these days. People working multiple jobs to get by seems to be more common.
Our next doc features 2 women, Suzanne and Victoria, struggling with us.
In 1975, every year on March 8th, people from around the world rallied together to fight for different social issues. 2 women will discuss their personal hardships they face in their lives and how they managed to overcome those issues.
It is within every single woman here to create her own path, to pave her own future.
I had a really difficult time finding a job.
Victoria Bito is a Ryerson student and a social advocate who has been participating in the Women's International Day rally for the past few years.
My first job was when I was 18 years old at a tattoo shop called Tattoo-Rama. I worked there for 6 years, actually. It kind of saved my life. I was living in group care at the time. I was pretty rough as a teenager, I guess. Definitely not as calm as I am now. I was really different back then, and I went through a lot of adversity and struggled a lot, living on my own since I was 16. And my boss, the owner of the shop, Eugene, he kind of just took me under his wing, and he was a really good mentor. And he told me that I had a voice, and it was a valid voice, and that, you know, who I wanted to be shouldn't be limited by what I look like. And that was a really positive message that I took forward with me. And now, being an early childhood educator and being an advocate for women's rights and for children's rights, it was my staple.
Suzanne Canzo is a Centennial College student who had to face cultural barriers to overcome her challenges.
I love my culture, don't get me wrong, but there's certain things that you take from each culture and apply it in your lives, and other things that you just let go. you know, fighting society and then what they see fit, what a girl should be doing versus what she shouldn't be doing. And that part of it I did not support. I know it's changing as the years progress, which is great. I went to St. Patrick's High School and we had a lot of Muslims over there. So all my friends were like, yeah, you're not gonna get a job. And I had a good friend of mine, he said, yeah, good luck finding a job out there, especially with your hijab on.
Can somebody explain?
I was determined. I'm like, I'm gonna prove this person wrong and I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna hand print as much resumes as I can and hopefully land a job. I got a call from Rogers Your Independent. I went in there, the general manager puts out in his hand to shake my hand. And I don't shake hands because of my religion, so out of respect, I just kind of went like this. And I explained to him, I apologize, you know, I don't shake hands. So I thought at that time, that's it, I'm not getting the job. Within the week, I believe he called me back saying that I got the job. I told all my friends, I'm like, I proved you guys wrong. I did get the job, and within 7 to 8 months, I was promoted to a supervisor in the bakery.
It is important for these social issues to be addressed and fought for. These two women are fine examples as advocates and an inspiration to those who need a voice.
I think a lot of youth, especially youth that are coming from group homes, from foster care, First Nations youth, minority, trans youth, women, the norms as well. I think that there's a lot of fear that we don't deserve better than what we're being offered. And we do deserve better than minimum wage and precarious work. We deserve stability and we deserve a future that we earned. And I think that it's important that young people know that they can use their voice to get that.
And that's all the time we have for this week. Thank you for joining us on the last episode of The Journal.
Now be sure to follow us on Twitter and check us out on Facebook.
And we really want to know what you think.
I'm Jared Vitone.
And I'm Kev Duh. You stay classy, Canada.
I'm your marshmallow, candied rock jello, average, oxymoronic, queen of obscene, losing innocence in low-cut jeans, messing with the minds of minions. Is she naughty? Is she nice? Which is dominant, her sugar or her spice? I think I've done the trick. If you're asking yourselves questions, my words might be simple, but thick. I'll wink my eye, you'll be wondering why